Hi, modern fashion designers. You're welcome back to class. This is Modern Woman Apparel. I want to say a very big thank you to all my subscribers. And if this is your first time stopping by, you're highly welcome. Please join us by hitting on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. So in today's class, we're going to be making this off-shoulder top with an elastic puff sleeve, and we also have a detailed tutorial of this very beautiful wrist skirt. You can find the link to the tutorial on the comment section. I'll be making use of this beautiful Ankara print for this, and I'm using 1.5 yards for this. So the measurements we'll be needing for this class is our shoulder measurement, the shoulder width, the shoulder to bust point, bust circumference, shoulder to half length. That's the waist length. So waist circumference, shoulder to your top length, and your top length circumference. So if your top is stopping at your high hip, that means you're taking your high hip circumference, and if you're extending yours to the hip length, you're taking your hip circumference. So for me, this is going to stop at the high hip, so I'm taking the high hip circumference. You also need your off shoulder drop down. That is where your off shoulder will start, and you need your strap to strap and also your round shoulder circumference. Now do not forget your back waist length. So in this class, I'll also be showing you how to contour or alter the back part for a top or a dress without waist joining. So guys, let's get right into the tutorial of the day. For this class, we'll be making use of our pattern because, like I said earlier, we are going to be doing some alterations on the back part, so we need our pattern for it. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead to rule the basic line. From here, this is the starting line here, and here to here is the shoulder width divided by 2. I'm working with shoulder width of 16, then divided by 2 is 8. From there, I came down by 1.5 inches for the front shoulder slope, and this is 3 by 3 for the basic neckline. We're not making use of all this part. This is just for a guide. Now from here to this chest line here is 8.8 inches. That is the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 plus 1 inch. So it's simply bust circumference divided by 6 plus 2.5. I hope you understand. So from here, this is 11 inches for the bust point. This is 17 inches for the half length. And what I have here is 24.75 for the top length. So my seam allowance is also included around here. This line I have here is the nipple to nipple divided by 2. So I'm working with nipple to nipple of 8 divided by 2 is 4. And what I have here is the waist dart. So I went to the left side by 0.75 and on the right by 0.75. And before I connected it on this bust point here, I came down by 1 inch and connected from the waist to the point here, and also to the top length line. So now what we are going to be doing is the off shoulder drop down. This is the level you want your off shoulder to stop. So for me, I'll be coming down from this line here by 5.5 inches. So this is my 5.5 inches. I'll make a mark there. We're not making use of the regular curve here, armhole curve here, because of course you know this is an off shoulder and it has its own armhole curve. Now on this off shoulder drop down, what I'm going to do is my strap to strap. To measure your strap to strap, place your tape from one bra strap to the other. So my strap to strap is 11. I'll divide it by 2 and it will give me 5.5. So before I connect it to this chest line, what I'm going to do is to measure what I have here. From this point here to this chest line here. So I'll measure what I have there and divide it by 2. So when I divide it by 2, I'll check what I have there. So you can see what I have here. This is 3.75. So from here, I'll come down by the same 3.75. This will be my new chest line. No longer this other chest line, no longer the initial chest line. If you measure yours and it falls on the initial chest line, you continue with the initial chest line. So what I'll do next is to measure my bust circumference divided by 4. So the bust circumference I'm working with is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. Now add half inch to it for the ease allowance, because I'm adding a sleeve to this. After that, I'll connect my off shoulder armhole. This is the off shoulder armhole. So as you can see, I didn't connect it to this initial chest line here. So what I'll also do is to come to this waistline here, this half length. I'll measure the waist circumference divided by 4. So I'm working with waist 34 divided by 4 is 8.5, and I'll measure the 8.5. So this dart I have here, dart of 1.5 inches, I'll replace it here. And here, this is the top length line and is around my upper hip. So I measured my upper hip circumference, and I'm working with 38. 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. I'll connect. So guys, you can see what I have here. Next, what I'm going to do is my sweetheart neckline. So I'll just come down here by 1.5 inches and connect. So you can see what we have. Next thing I'm going to do now is to add my seam allowance. So guys, this is 1/2 inch here for joining. This is on the upper part, this is on the armhole side, and I added 1.5 on this side. So next is for me to cut this out, and let's go over to the back part. So guys, this is the back part. As you can see, now this is the basic neckline. We're not making use of it. It's still for a girl, and from here to here is 8.8 inches. Remember how I got it? My bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 plus 1, or you can say bust circumference divided by 6 plus 2.5. It's all the same. And this is the off shoulder drop than the 5.5 inches I did for the front. So this is the chest line. I extended it to this place. Now from here, this line I have here is the CB, the center back, where I'm taking all the horizontal measurement from. So for the zipper allowance, we'll be imputing it much more later. So this is the waist length here, and this is the top length line. Now we all know that the back top length and the front top length are not the same. If you've watched our tutorial on bustier class, you will notice that we normally shorten the back waist length, and for that we impute the bust dart. That is because the bustier will be having a joining on the waist, but for this you can see it doesn't have joining on the waist. So that means we are still going to impute the same length we did on the front. So the top length I have on this back part and the one I have on the front is still the same, but I'm still going to eliminate the excess from this back, from the back waist length, to give me my back top length. So the difference between my back top length and the front top length is 1.5. I hope you understand. So I'm going to contour this back waist length here in order for this center back to be 1.5 shorter than the front length. I hope you understand. So having said that, what I'm going to do now is the back tightening. So I'll come here I'll go in by 0.75, and from there I'll connect from here to this off shoulder line here and to the top length line. So this now becomes our new center back. We are no longer making use of this initial center back. I hope you understand. So I'm going to be taking all the measurement from this new center back. So the bust span measurement is 8 divided by 2 is 4. I'm taking the waist dart. I'll come here. I'll measure what I have here. From here, this is 4.75. On this chest line here, I'll measure the same 4.75 here. And also on the top length line, the same 4.75. From here, note that I measured from here and from here in order for this part here to be equal, for the line to be straight. And I'll take the same 0.75 I did on the front and still connect. So this, I'm connecting it up to the chest line. So after this, I'll start taking all the measurements. So from here, I'll take my strap to strap. So strap to strap divided by 2. Remember, I'm working with 11. Divided by 2 is 5.5. And on this chest line here, I'll do the same thing I did here. So remember, I measured what I have on the front, divided it by 2, and I had 3.75. So this is the same 3.75 for the new chest line. The purpose of this is for us not to have a tight armhole. So on this new chest line here, I'll do the bust circumference divided by 4 plus half for ease. So remember, see where I'm taking the measurement from this new center back line. I'll come to the waistline here. Waist measurement divided by 4 plus this 1.5 inches for that. I'll replace it. I also come here, my high hip divided by 4. So I have it there, and I'll connect and also draw the armhole. So guys, you can see what I have here. Now what I'm going to do is for this back here, I'll come down here for my back here. I'll come down by 2 inches. So you can give this back any shape of your choice. So this is the shape I want for the back here. So as you can see, we are basically done. But before we impute our zipper, we are going to shorten this to give us our back top length. So how to know your back top length is for you to measure your front waist length and your back waist length. The difference between your front waist length and your back waist length, you subtract it from the front top length. So let's say the top length I'm making use of is 24 inches. And the difference between my back waist length and the front waist length is 1.5 inches. So what I will do is to subtract 1.5 inches from 24 inches, that is my front top length. So when I do that, I'll be having 22.5. So the front top length is 24 inches, while the back top length is 22.5. I hope you understand. So in order to shorten it, what I'm going to do here is to come to this waist length line here, divide that 1.5 inches by 2, and I'll have 0.75. So I'll go up by 0.75 and also come down from here by 0.75. And from here, I'll connect to this part here. Please note that if the difference you have is more than 1.5 inches, come in from the side by 1 inch before connecting your dart. That way you won't shorten your sides. And please do this before adding your side seam allowance. This is to eliminate the excess back length. And from there, I'll cut it out. So what we are going to do is to eliminate this dart we have made here. So in order to do that, what you are going to do is to cut one of the dart legs. Place your hand this way and carry it and place on this part here. You place it on this dart leg here, this last one. After placing it there, you tape it down. So after this, what you are going to do is just to blend all the lines up. All the lines that have shifted, just blend them up. As you can see. So now this is basically it. This is how to shorten the back length for a top or a dress, a gown that does not have waist joining. So what we are going to do now is to impute our zipper allowance and all the allowances that we need for this back part. So I'm working with a zipper of 1.25 from here. So after adding all the necessary seam allowances, this for the zipper, this is the same ½ inch I added on the top on the armhole side, and this is the same 1.5 inches. What I will do now is to cut this out. I will transfer this to fabric. So after cutting, this is what we have. This is the back part and this is the front part. The back and the front part, they are equal by the sides. The only difference is on the back part here, on the center back, that is shortened with 1.5 inches to avoid excess on the back part. So guys, what we are going to do now is to transfer this to fabric. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric. We have already added all the seam allowances on this pattern. So what I did is just to place on my fabric and cut. So this is the back part. You can see I have 2 pieces of it, and the same for the lining. Now if you're making use of a crepe fabric, like I said earlier, I'm using an Ankara print. So I'm using a lining for this. If you're using a crepe fabric, you can make use of a facing for the neckline. So this is also for the front, is on fold, so you cut the front on fold, and also your lining will be on fold. Now for the sleeve here, this is what I have here. The length here is 12 inches. I'm also using a lining for it because I want to give this a little bit of weight. It's very light. So the measurement I have here, remember I said when taking your measurement, you need your round shoulder measurement. So the round shoulder I'm working with is 41, and the strap to strap I'm making use of is 11. So 11 for the front, 11 for the back, and that will give me 22. So by the time I subtract 22 from 41, what I have is 19 for the sleeve. So this 19, I'll divide it by 2, one part for the right sleeve and one part for the left sleeve. So when I divide the 19 by 2, I'll have 9.5. So 9.5, 9.5 for the left, 9.5 for the right sleeve. So the width of this sleeve I have here is 9.5 multiplied by 3. So you can decide to multiply yours by 4, 2, 2.5. Depends on how full you want your sleeve to be. I hope you understand. So what we are going to do next is to start stitching. So to join this together, you pick up either the front or the back part. As you can see, this is the front part here. So I place it with the lining right side facing each other, and you can see that my lining is half an inch shorter than the main fabric. So this is how yours should be. So what I'm going to do now is to take this to my sewing machine, stitch the top part, the sides, and the down part, leaving only the armhole because I'll be turning this through the armhole side. After that, I'll also pick up the back part and do same thing to the back part. So guys, for the sake of the beginners with us that are wondering how to sew this, what you are going to do is to stitch the upper part first with your half an inch, and then you drag it because you know that the lining is half inch shorter than the main fabric. So you drag it and stitch the down part. After that, what you are going to do is to bend it this way. You bend it this way, drag it to meet with this. So part of the main fabric is coming with it to form the facing for this down part. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So after that, you stitch and also stitch this part. So you can see what I've done here. So this is it. Another thing you will do is while stitching, please use your hemming gum for this because we are not top stitching. So use your hemming gum. Please try as much as you can to get it. It's not cheap. Here in Lagos, it's just 200 naira. So get it, it's very useful. And after stitching, what I did is also to notch the neckline. So you notch the neckline. This is for the front, as you can see. I also use my hemming gum while stitching. So after that, you also notch this. At this point, you can decide to trim down the seam allowance before turning, or you leave it. So for me, I'm going to trim it down, and I'll turn this over to the right part and give it a good press. So this is what I have after giving it a good press. So you see this armhole side, all you need to do is to use a top stitch to close it up. After this, what we are going to do now is to sew the dart. So you can see I have transferred the same dart I have on the pattern. I have transferred it to this fabric. So what I'm going to do now is to hold it this way and stitch. So you can see the both sides. I also did the same thing to the back side. So I'll stitch my dart and we'll move over to the next thing. After stitching the dart, this is what I have. So what I will do now is to take the back part and attach the zipper to it. After attaching the zipper, what I will do now is to place the back and the front right side facing each other and shape the sides. Please join the sides from the down part to the armhole side. After joining the sides, we'll set this part aside and work on the sleeve. So for the sleeve, if you are not attaching a lining to this, all you need to do is to fold it this way and create a channel for your elastic. So you're folding the down part and the upper part. But for me, I'm going to turn this with my lining. So for the sleeve, this is what I have. I placed the lining and the main fabric right side facing each other. And after stitching, after joining this upper and the lower side, I turned it to the right side. So what I did is to make a top stitch here to create a channel for my elastic. So my elastic is going to be in between this main fabric and the lining. Now what we are going to do is to bring the sleeves Fold it into 2 equal halves like this, and bring the bodies and place it this way. We are trying to create the armhole for the sleeve, so this is just the easiest way to create your armhole for the sleeve. So place it this way, as you can see, then you cut out. So what I'm going to do now is to put my elastic in the channel, and I'll show you how to attach the sleeve. After inserting the elastic, you can see what I have here. So for the elastic, the measurement I have on the shoulder is 9.5. So for the elastic on the shoulder, I did 7 inches. So for the round sleeve, I have 11 inches for the round sleeve, and for the elastic, I cut 9 inches. So I minus 2 inches from what I have on the downside and 2 inches from what I have on the upper side. What I'm going to do now is to attach this to the bodies. Remember the side we trimmed. So what I'm going to do is to place it this way and stitch. After stitching this part, mind you, are going to open your zipper up. So you place it this way again. Here, pick the other armhole. So you can see I left a little opening on the bodies. I didn't stitch to the top. So this is to enable me fit the sleeve. After you are done stitching this part, what you are going to do is to flip this to the other side here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And stitch. So after stitching this part here and this part, this is what you're going to have. All you need to do is to continue sewing from this part here and close up the sleeve. So I'll do that, give this a nice press, and show you what we have. So guys, this is our top. After attaching the sleeve, you can see the top looking so beautiful. I'll put this on my mannequin and let's see what we have. So guys, you can see the beautiful top we have here. Thanks so much for watching. Please do not forget we have the making of this beautiful skirt on this channel. You'll find the link to the tutorial on the comment section. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. I'll see you in my next class. I'm Modern Woman. Bye for now.